This is a massive Lego base plate, and I'm going to have 3 hours to build the iconic pizzeria. In this video, I'm also going to be recreating iconic scenes and locations, like the forest scene, the taxi, and the infamous encounter with Springtrap. Let the challenge begin. Starting off with the minifigure selection, there's 5 animatronics, which include Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Foxy, and of course Springtrap, the 5 kids that possess the animatronics, the 4 raiders who broke into the pizzeria, the taxi driver who is played by Cory, Kenshin, Abby, Mike, and Vanessa, and last but not least, it's William Afton. Here's the game plan. The pizzeria is going to be 32 by 32 studs in size, and include a full interior, and a massive entrance on the outside, which will look exactly like the movie. Starting off with the arcade area, I included a checkered floor pattern and left a couple spots to include a few arcade machines on the sides. So I built a Sonic and Pac-Man machine, and on the other side, I created a Just Dance game with enough space for a few minifigures. Behind the arcade, there's a perfect spot to place the main stage. It features a large brick wall with some multicolored lights at the top and some clouds for extra detail. And there's plenty of space to place all of the animatronics on the stage. Moving backstage, I added a power generator, some boxes on the right, and I thought a charging station would be quite cool. So there's 3 spots to place the animatronics. I can't forget to add the walls. So I used a tan color scheme with a checkered pattern throughout, and added a door so they can access the other rooms. And at the back I just built 2 small wall sections, with some lights and grill pieces for extra detail. And there's also a security camera, so Mike can watch the animatronics. The main section has just been completed, so now I have to finish the smaller rooms. Starting off with the left side, I thought it would be good to include a small closet where Bonnie introduces himself to one of the raiders. There's some paint containers with one of them spilled over, and I created 2 builds for some shelves, which include some tools, boxes, sponges, and a nice slice of pizza, which is probably still safe to eat. I'm sure he's fine. Next to that, I created a small build for a vent with enough space for 1 minifigure, and has some mechanical details on the side and some ventilation on the top. After that, I just built 2 more wall sections, with one of them featuring a removable vent, just like the scene from the movie. For this room, I wanted to recreate the scene where Mike was trapped with the animatronic, so I tiled over the floor, leaving some space for the builds. Added Mike in the chair with some handcuffs, and built the animatronic, with some gears that can spin, and some red eyes. Now it's time to finish the final section, which includes the security room and the kitchen. I started off by adding a checkered floor with some spots for the desk and the chair, then constructed the desk with a few monitors, a keyboard with a few buttons on the side, a drink, and a telephone, and finished the section with a doorway and added his chair. Now it's time for the kitchen, which is going to look great. I added a countertop with dough balls, toppings, and some pizza boxes. Then added another kitchen section with a sink, stove, and a chopping board. Next to that, I built a brick oven so they can cook some pizza. Last but not least, I'm going to build the entrance, and then the pizzeria will be complete. Finally, the pizzeria has been completed, and I think it looks really cool. There's various different rooms and details, with loads of space to place minifigures. Overall, I think it turned out way better than I would have expected, and I think it's time to move on to the smaller builds. In the actual movie, they used the iconic yellow taxi, so I created a build with a yellow and black colour scheme, with some stripes on the sides and a taxi sign on the top. Even though it is quite compact, I still managed to include a decent interior. There's a seat for the driver with a steering wheel, a speedometer, a gear stick, and even a backrest. And at the back, there's just enough space to fit Golden Freddy. Moving to the next build, I'm going to recreate the forest scene. Starting off with the base, I used some reddish brown, dark tan, and dark orange pieces, as it looks like quite a dry forest. And above that, I added 2 pine trees which use a sideways building technique, and used some foliage pieces around the trees to add some more detail. Now it's time to add all of the figures to complete the build. Overall, I think the build looks great and represents what we see in the trailers quite well. For the final build, I'm going to recreate the hallway where Mike encounters Springtrap. So I used a similar design to the hallway from the last build, and to make it a bit more interesting, I added a control panel on the wall with some buttons and dials, some equipment next to that, and I also added a bucket with some tools, and some boxes in the corner. I think this is a great diorama of the scene from the movie, and looks amazing with the 2 figures added. I had a great time recreating the Five Nights at Freddy's movie in LEGO, and can't wait to see it when it comes out tomorrow.